My husband claimed he made a secret $5,000 investment, but I discovered an expensive bag as a gift for his mistress. So I sold the bag, took myself on a luxury trip, and left him forever. Hello, everyone. If someone had told me a year ago that I would be sitting here, writing about the ultimate betrayal, I would have laughed. My husband, Daniel, was supposed to be my best friend, my partner, the person I trusted the most in this world. We had been married for 8 years, built a life together, and while things weren't always perfect, I believed in our love. But life has a way of exposing the truth when you least expect it, and mine came crashing down the moment I discovered his so-called investment was nothing but a beautifully wrapped lie. Daniel had always been the financially savvy one in our relationship. He handled our investments, savings, and budgeting, while I managed the home, our social life, and my own career. I never questioned his decisions. Why would I? He was responsible, cautious, and never made a move without careful consideration. So, when he told me he had made a secret investment of $5,000, I trusted him. He said it was something special, an opportunity he couldn't pass up, and that in time, it would pay off significantly. At first, I didn't press him for details. We had always had a rule in our marriage: trust first, questions later. But something felt different this time. The way he avoided eye contact, how quickly he changed the subject whenever I brought it up, the nervous energy that replaced his usual confidence, it was all out of character. And then, there was his phone. Daniel had never been the type to guard his phone. He would leave it lying around, unlocked, without a second thought. But suddenly, he was taking it everywhere. To the bathroom, to the kitchen, even when he went to the garage for something as simple as grabbing a screwdriver. The shift was subtle at first, but then it became impossible to ignore. He was hiding something. And I was determined to find out what. The opportunity came when he was in the shower. His phone, for the first time in weeks, was left on the nightstand. My heart pounded in my chest as I picked it up, my hands trembling. I didn't even know what I was looking for, but I knew I had to look. What I found made my blood turn to ice. A confirmation email from an upscale boutique. One expensive designer handbag, paid in full. The amount? Exactly $5,000. My stomach twisted into knots. I read the email again and again, hoping I had misunderstood. But there it was in black and white. A receipt for a purchase he had never mentioned, for something I had never received. And then, the final blow, a delivery address that wasn't ours. I felt sick. My legs nearly gave out beneath me. My mind raced with possibilities, but deep down, I already knew. The man who had promised me love, loyalty, and honesty had been lying straight to my face. My instincts screamed at me to confront him, to demand the truth right then and there. But a part of me knew better. If he had been bold enough to lie to me once, he wouldn't hesitate to do it again. No, I needed more than just an accusation, I needed proof. Over the next few days, I played the role of the oblivious wife, all while carefully piecing together the puzzle. I checked our bank statements and found the transaction linked to his personal credit card, separate from our shared account. I dug deeper, searching through his email history, his calendar, anything that could give me a clearer picture. And then I found it. A series of messages between him and her. A woman I had never heard of, let alone met. The messages weren't just casual, they were intimate. Full of inside jokes, playful flirting, and plans to meet up. My chest tightened as I scrolled further, my worst fears confirmed with every word. And then, the final piece fell into place. A message from Daniel to her, telling her that he had a surprise for her. A beautiful gift for a beautiful woman. My breath caught in my throat. The bag. My husband's secret investment wasn't for us, it was for her. I had my proof. And with that, my heart hardened. There was no coming back from this. But I wasn't going to explode in rage. I wasn't going to cry and beg for an explanation. No, I had something much better in mind. I was going to make him regret every single lie. And I was going to make sure that when I walked away, I would do so with my head held high. And that, my dear readers, is where the real story begins. I knew what I had to do. The moment I discovered the truth, something inside me shifted. The hurt, the disbelief, the gut-wrenching pain, it all melted away, leaving only one thing behind: cold, calculated determination. If Daniel thought he could humiliate me, lie to my face, and get away with it, he was about to learn a lesson he would never forget. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed next to him, listening to the even rhythm of his breathing, the same breath I had found comfort in for years. But now it felt like sleeping next to a stranger who had shattered everything we had built. My mind spun with possibilities, my heart burning with the need for justice. I wasn't going to scream, throw things, or let my emotions take over. No, my revenge had to be smarter, sharper, and, most importantly, unforgettable. The next morning, I acted like nothing had changed. I greeted him with a sleepy smile, kissed his cheek, and made him his usual coffee. He had no idea that, in the span of just a few hours, I had transformed from the trusting wife he took for granted into someone he should fear. He kissed me goodbye and left for work, unaware that I already had a plan set in motion. First, I needed access to the bag. I tracked the delivery status from his email and saw that it had already been delivered 2 days prior to an address I didn't recognize. But I wasn't about to let that stop me. I called the boutique, pretending to be the recipient's assistant, and spun a desperate tale about how the gift had been sent to the wrong address. I played the role of the frantic, stressed-out assistant so well that the sales representative apologized profusely and provided me with the exact location where it had been delivered. It was her address. I drove there without hesitation, parking a few houses down so I wouldn't be seen. The house was small but charming, quaint, even. And in that moment, I hated it. I hated everything it represented. I hated that my husband had stepped through that door, bringing her expensive gifts while lying straight to my face. But I wasn't here to dwell on my hatred. I was here to take back what was mine. I walked up to the porch with all the confidence in the world, rang the doorbell, and waited. When the door opened, I was greeted by a woman who looked about 5 years younger than me, with long, sleek hair and the kind of smugness that only someone completely unaware of the storm about to hit them could have. "Can I help you?" she asked, tilting her head in confusion. I smiled sweetly. "Yes, actually. I believe you received a package by mistake, an expensive designer bag. It belongs to me." Her eyes widened for the briefest second before she recovered, crossing her arms. "I don't know what you're talking about." I let out a soft chuckle. "Oh, I think you do. You see, Daniel, my husband, bought it using our money. And since I'm the one who makes sure our finances stay in order, I'm here to collect it." She faltered. I saw the flicker of uncertainty, of panic, and I knew I had her. She was probably expecting me to yell, to scream, to cause a scene. But I wasn't here for theatrics. I was here for results. "Listen," I continued, lowering my voice as if sharing a secret. "I don't blame you. Daniel is a great liar. He probably told you he was single, maybe even that we were having problems. But here's the thing. He's my husband, and that bag, it's mine. So, we can do this the easy way or the hard way." Her face twisted with emotions, anger, shame, defiance, but in the end, she stepped aside. Moments later, she returned with the bag, thrusting it into my hands. "Take it," she snapped. "And tell your husband to never contact me again." I smiled. "Oh, don't worry. He won't be contacting anyone when I'm done with him." With that, I turned on my heel and walked away, victorious. But my revenge wasn't over yet. I took the bag home, admired its ridiculous price tag, and then listed it for sale online. It sold within the hour for nearly its full price. With that money in my account, I booked myself a luxury vacation, first-class flights, a 5-star resort, spa treatments, everything I had ever dreamed of. But before I left, I had one last move to make. I waited for Daniel to get home, sitting calmly in the living room with a glass of wine. When he walked in, he smiled at me, completely unaware of the storm about to hit. "Hey, babe," he said, setting his briefcase down. "How was your day?" I took a sip of my wine, savoring the moment. "Oh, it was eventful. I stopped by her house today." His smile vanished. His body tensed. "What are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone and scrolled through the messages I had screenshotted, the ones between him and his mistress. Then, I tossed the phone onto the coffee table in front of him. "Read," I commanded. His face drained of color as he picked it up, his hands visibly shaking. I watched as his eyes darted across the screen, as reality hit him like a truck. When he looked up at me, I saw fear. "Good. I can explain," he started, but I held up a hand. "Save it." I leaned forward, my voice as cold as ice. "I sold the bag, Daniel. I took the money and booked myself a trip, without you. You spent our money on your little affair, so I decided to spend it on myself. And when I get back..." I stood up, grabbing my suitcase that had been sitting by the door. "I'll be filing for divorce." His mouth opened and closed, searching for words, but I didn't care anymore. I was done. I grabbed my keys, walked to the door, and turned back one last time. "Enjoy your life, Daniel. Because I'll be enjoying mine without you." And with that, I walked out, slamming the door behind me. But this wasn't the end. No, my journey was just beginning. The second I stepped out of that house, leaving Daniel behind in a stunned, pathetic silence, I felt something I hadn't in years: power. Real, undeniable power. Not the illusion of security I had clung to in our marriage, not the false comfort of trusting a man who had betrayed me. No, this was different. This was mine. As the cab pulled away, I didn't look back. I didn't need to. The past was behind me, burning to ash where it belonged. Ahead of me was my new beginning, one that I had built from the wreckage of his lies. At the airport, I checked in without hesitation, breezing through security with nothing but my carry-on and a heart finally free of dead weight. The first-class lounge welcomed me with open arms, soft seats, endless champagne, and a world that felt untouched by betrayal. I let myself sink into it, sipping my drink, scrolling through my phone. That's when I saw the first message from Daniel. "Please, just talk to me." I smirked. Oh, now he wanted to talk? When the truth had already swallowed him whole. Pathetic. I turned off my phone without replying. I didn't need his words anymore. I didn't need his excuses, his half-hearted apologies, or his desperate attempts to claw back what he had lost. He had made his choices. Now he could live with them. But I wasn't done just yet. Before leaving, I had done something Daniel would never see coming. While he was at work that day, thinking his secret was safe, I had gone to our shared bank accounts and transferred everything that was legally mine into a separate account. Half of everything. We had built that life together, and I wasn't about to let him walk away with more than he deserved. Then I did something even better. I gathered every piece of evidence I had, screenshots of his messages, proof of his financial deception, records of his affair, and sent them to his family, his friends, and, just for good measure, his boss. Because if Daniel was going to destroy my trust, my love, and our marriage, I was going to make sure he paid the price. By the time my flight was called, I could only imagine the chaos that was unfolding back home. The shocked faces, the furious texts, the slow, horrifying realization that he had lost everything. And I was free. As the plane soared through the sky, I leaned back, closing my eyes. For the first time in years, I wasn't trapped in a cycle of lies, doubt, and betrayal. I wasn't wondering if I was enough, if I had done something wrong, if I could somehow fix what was never meant to last. No, I had taken back my life. And as the warm sun greeted me in paradise, as I stepped into a world untouched by Daniel's betrayal, I knew one thing for certain. This was just the beginning. And I was never looking back.